Today we're talking about how to actually study. And I promise you that by the time you are done with this video, you're going to look back at how you've been studying your entire life and you're probably going to want to throw yourself off a cliff. Because here's the thing, many of us believe that studying means sitting down, opening your notes, and rereading it over and over and over and over and over again. And if the exam is big enough, then do that for longer periods of time, 6 to 8 hours. And that makes complete sense because that's what school taught us to do. Everybody sit down, open your notes and read. But the truth is that that's why a lot of students fail nowadays. And I know how that sounds, but I want you to stick with me. Now that I have your attention, I need you to know that the solution is not complicated at all. There's a very specific reason why a lot of students put in hours and hours into studying and never get the results that they want. And once you understand it, everything is straightforward from there. I've gone through a lot of studying techniques, the good, the bad, the useless, and I've applied them personally. And I'm going to break them down for you guys today. I'm going to give you guys a 3-step framework built around how your brain actually stores information, and you can actually apply them in your next exam or study session immediately. By the way, I'm Bright. I scored 302 on JAMB in 2024, which was about 0.05% of all students in Nigeria. I'm currently a first-class student with a CGPA above 4.5. So by all means, I am what you would call a top student. So I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, let's get into it. So what is the specific reason why students study for hours and they don't remember anything when they get into the exam hall? Well, it boils down to 2 things. That's 3. 2 things: recognition and recall. What is recognition and recall? Recognition happens when your brain sees something that it has already seen before and it goes, oh yeah, I know that. But recall is when your brain has to actually produce information from scratch. In terms of studying, that means writing everything down from your brain without looking at your notes. Now, this is what most students do. When you sit down and keep rereading your notes, what you are doing is training recognition. Your brain keeps seeing your notes, seeing the same paragraph, seeing what looks familiar, and it's like, oh yeah, I know that. And familiarity feels like knowledge, but they are not the same thing at all. Because exams do not put your notes in front of you and ask you, do you remember that? No, what they do is put you in a situation and ask you to recall that information from scratch, produce it from scratch, write it down from your memory. That is recall. And if you have never trained that before, then you are going to blank out in every single exam, no matter how many hours you spend reading. That's why everything in this framework is built around recall. It is designed specifically to put your brain in situations whereby it has to draw information out of itself, rather than just recognizing it. This framework has 3 steps and 1 bonus. Let's get into it. Step 0, get a separate notebook. Before you do anything else, I want you to get a separate notebook that is completely different from what you use when you are in class. And this has nothing to do with being organized. This is the entire foundation of the framework going forward. Your class notes are just a reference. You are never going to sit down and reread them ever again. Your separate notebook is where your work is actually going to start. Because our goal now is to bring information out of your brain and not just push more into it. Think about it this way. Your class notes are the source material, and your separate notebook is where you are going to figure out what you actually know. This step is very, very simple. But if you skip it, the remaining steps are not going to work the way they're supposed to work. Step 1, stand up and teach it. After you finish reading a portion of your notes, whether it's just a page, a chapter, or just a paragraph, I want you to stand up. And the key thing here is to stand up. Then you're going to pretend like you have an imaginary friend in front of you that does not know anything and they've asked you to teach it to them. Try your best to teach everything you can to them. Then I want you to take note of everything that you cannot teach. Stop for that moment and write down, okay, at this point, I could not explain this. Then don't look at your notes. Just write down what you could not teach. Then go back to explain to your imaginary friend. When you are done, revisit and rework only those parts that you could not explain. Then you stand up and teach those parts again until there is nothing you cannot teach. The reason why this is effective is because your brain is very good at making you feel like you know something when you've only just seen it before. Recognition. But the moment you actually have to produce it, in this case, teaching it to someone, be it an imaginary person, the cracks in your knowledge become clear and everything you don't know is presented to you. And you know, okay, this is where I need to put my effort in. Most students just reread the parts that they already know because it feels comfortable. And quite frankly, who wouldn't? Facing the things you don't know is very, very uncomfortable. That's why they enter the exam hall feeling prepared. And then when they see the questions, they're like, I don't sabi anything. This one change alone will change how you study. But the next step is where the real magic magic actually happens. There is something specific about what happens when you get something wrong. And once you understand that logic, everything else makes sense. Step 2. Deliberately get things wrong. It sounds mad, I know, but relax, let me explain. Your brain does not learn from getting things right. It actually learns from getting things wrong. When you answer a question correctly, your brain looks at it and is like, we already knew this thing now, and it just like files it away. But when you answer a question wrong and then see the right answer, your brain notices the gap between what it thought was correct and what is actually correct, and it goes, hey, we didn't know that, let's fill in that gap. And then when you put effort into actually learning the correct thing, it sticks. This is called error-driven learning, and it's what separates students who genuinely retain information and people who just read their notes and think like they're remembering. You can go over the same sentence 15 times and feel like you know it. Your brain is just saying, we know. But you're not actually recognizing cracks or gaps, and therefore nothing new is actually going to get stored in your head. So how can you actually apply this? It's actually very simple. Just use AI. Take the section that you've just studied, whether in your slides or your PDF or a scanned version of your notes, then put it into ChatGPT or Gemini. Then ask it to generate multiple choice questions or theory questions, depending on how you're going to be tested in the exam hall and based on that content. Then actually put effort into answering the questions that it gives you in the chat. You're probably going to get some wrong, but it's fine. When it gives you your results back, I want you to go over every single mistake carefully and consciously take notes of the correct answers. This cycle of attempt, fail, and correct is how your brain actually builds memory. If you look back at how you learned certain skills like cooking or riding a bicycle or even football, you will notice a pattern here. You will notice that that's exactly how you got good at those things. We're now bringing that logic into your studies. Now, these 3 steps alone are going to take you farther than most students will ever reach. But if you want to make sure that what you read does not disappear the moment you close your notes, I have one more thing that I do that I've never seen anyone on YouTube talk about, and that is our bonus step. Text your friend everything you've just read. That's right. Text your friend. About an hour to 2 hours after you finish studying, take out your phone and text your friend a detailed but concise summary of everything you just read. Because an hour after studying, whether you believe it or not, forgetting has already started. So the things that you cannot remember in that text you are typing are the things that you need to revisit before your next study session or at your next study session. And an added benefit is that your friend will get a well-explained short summary of something that they are going to read. You've done a good deed and karma will favor you. That's just it. Okay, so let's zoom out now. The reason why most students fail is not because they don't study enough. It's because they spend most of their time training recognition, which is rereading, highlighting, and going over what feels familiar, when exams test exclusively on recall. And for you, the fix is very straightforward. Get a separate notebook, stand up and teach everything you read to an imaginary friend, use ChatGPT to generate questions and deliberately get answers wrong, and after you are done, text everything you just learned to a friend. This approach to studying is genuinely what got me 302 in JAMB and has kept me on a first class since day one. If this has changed how you think about studying, then drop a comment and let me know your biggest struggle when it comes to exams. Also, while you're down there, I want you to like this video and subscribe. It's free and you're going to be getting a lot more value from me on this channel. Oh yeah, lock in guys.